Yes, sir. We're here right now, going live with you on Teague's Take. Thank you for being who you are and what you do and being a great listener for us. We always love these days. It's Tuesday, January the 25th, and man, there's so much going on in the world of sports. Uh, it could be baseball, it could be football, whether it's the pros or collegiate ball. Um, Man, it just seems like there's always some type of breaking news, particularly on these Tuesday nights when we have this. But we're going to stick to a couple things tonight. We're going to be talking about transfers in the collegiate world, primarily with Alabama, but maybe some TCU and some other things. Recruiting. What does that landscape look like with another National Signing Day coming up in the world of football? And of course, we got to hit on these overtime rules, playoff overtime rules. In the National Football League, because it was total blasphemy. And what happened to Josh Allen and him not getting a chance to be able to win that game or at least try to tie it up after Patrick Mahomes went down there. All right, so I need to first start talking about this transfer portal stuff, and I'm really, really intrigued by it. You know, before I was kind of not really feeling it all that much. It just felt like I didn't want free agency to be happening in the collegiate world. But you know, more I'm going into this, and we've talked about it several times on our podcast here, that, you know, guys have an opportunity to play, guys have an opportunity to capitalize on their name, image, and likeness somewhere else, or money is all a good thing for them. But this is the part that I want to bring up before we bring in our other co-hosts. I think I'm starting to get intrigued now because I'm wondering what the players are actually doing. Are they actually recruiting people to their schools? Will collegiate players be able to basically assemble like super teams, kind of like what they do in the NBA, where they go get a couple people and they all go to the same school or whatnot? Do you think some quarterback, Bryce Young, or others might be out saying, DMing people on Instagram, Twitter, whatever it is, and saying, man, come, let's put this thing together so we can go win us a national championship? I think that's a real thing. I don't know, but I want to ask our co-host to come in and tell me, am I thinking about this all wrong, or if rules prevent that for me? Please welcome to the show James Teague, a.k.a. JT. Find him at BamaJ13 on Twitter. He's not on any other social media stuff except for Reddit, I guess.
Yeah,
I guess he's supposed to be, are you anonymous on Reddit?
Yeah, but everybody, it's the same screen name. It's fine.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. I hadn't figured out that whole thing yet. So we're welcoming him to the show. You know, he's always going to be analytical, bringing different topics, or not topics, but ideas. Really thinks outside of the box a lot, and that's what I really love about him and why he's on this show, because he does make you think, intrigues you with a lot of stuff. And then we got the QB guru, Nick Granado. Yes, sir. He's here as well. You can find him at Nick Granado 1991. Is that what that is? That's your birth year, or what is the 1991? What is
it? Is. I'm still trying to figure out how to change my name. I was going to see if maybe you could give me. You gave me the nickname. I was seeing if you can give me the new Twitter handle. So I was going to get with you.
I think you have to leave the Nick Granado 1991, but you can put your name to show up as QB Guru without losing your followers. You can do that, I believe.
Sounds good.
Things of that nature. So we're here with them tonight. We're going to have a good conversation. But what do you guys think, JT? Can we make a super team? Does that really happen? Is that against the rules?
It's not against the rules for players to do it. It is against the rules for coaches to do it.
To go actively recruit.
Yeah, but that is, if I recall right, that's not an NCAA rule. That's like a rule that the conferences have kind of come with. You know, it's a gentleman's agreement between the coaches that they're not supposed to do this. But the players can hit up whoever they want to hit up, right? I mean, we saw this with Trayshawn Holden. I know that Preston Stone was hitting up people to go to SMU. I mean, we know this happens, and they're not shy about it. I mean, Najee Harris and some other people were doing the same thing. Once they committed, they were like, "All right, now I'm gonna go try to recruit all my buddies to come here with me." And sometimes they don't go, and then they might text them and say, "Hey, it ain't going right here. Coach done got fired. I play in Hawaii, but 85% of the team has quit, so I'm looking to leave. Where are you at? How does it?"
Yeah, you're right. I just wonder if it's different because you brought up some other things, and those are great points. But I'm just wondering because some of that was pre-money, pre-NIL deals that now, I don't know how much players actually know about the stash or whatever that, I know they can't get negotiating stuff, but maybe, I'm wondering if coach says, "Hey, we got whatever it is, 20 million sitting over here that we're going to be divvying up. If you got somebody, hit them up and get them." You know what I mean? Hell, we're already cheating and we already put it out there on the board now. So I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's not unusual even before NIL for the coach to nicely instruct a player to reach out to another player. I mean, I won't say any names on recorded YouTube live streams, but I have been asked to send a text or make a phone call for a player that we may have been trying to get to come to Drake that was supposedly in my position group.
Did they put some cash in your hand too and tell you to go be a good host and then you didn't give
I couldn't even get no books.
Player the money.
Remember they wanted me to run in the Drake relays to run on the 4x1 team, and I asked them if they could subsidize some books, and they was like, "Nah, but you can skip practice." I said, "I'm already skipping practice. I don't understand."
Well, what do you think about Nick? We're gonna get the super team over at TCU. They're gonna put something together, and they got a lot of work to try to get a super team. But
yeah, I was gonna say it's like JT said. I don't think it's anything like a secret. It's just a little bit open now. The only thing that's kind of really out there on the billboards everywhere you go is anybody that's not in the SEC. It's a mighty uphill battle, because the SEC is looked at NFL-esque, NFL quality TV rights, so it's already there. The standard is there. So if you're not in the SEC or two teams that are going to the SEC very soon, you're kind of sweating a little bit. So it's definitely going to be harder than it already was for TCU to now even recruit.
So yeah. So do you guys think that the landscape will change where players were actually trying to get on a team to try to make it to the National Football League, and then maybe that may change so that teams look more equal because the players in high school are not going to be looking for dollars and not now immediately. I can go get a signing bonus of 100 or $1 million, whatever it is. I don't know, you name it, Jackson State, or will they stop and forget about or not be so hard pressed on the National Football League if they can go make a cool $4 or $5 million in college and hope they get there some other kind of way?
I don't think so. I don't think it's for a couple of reasons. I think that the people who can, or the schools that can give the more lucrative NIL deals, just so happen to also be the schools that are going to send you to the NFL anyway. And I think that most most of the recruits are probably going to be thinking about it the same way we think about our jobs, right? Where there are places that I want to go, and the NIL money is kind of the cherry on top, and that might be the differentiator between Alabama and Ohio State, right? I don't know which one I'm going to go to. I like both. I like both of these, and I can make an extra $500,000 if I just go over here. Where you're kind of like, where you're kind of already saying like, I don't know that I can make a bad decision here. I can't go wrong with either one of these schools. But I think if you're like debating between Alabama and Southern Miss, I don't think that's ever still up for debate. I don't, even if I think you're, willing to take the pay cut at Alabama.
You think so? And I was going to say, because as you're going through that, I was really thinking about SMU, right? And their rise and their coming up. And then they just announced that they got the largest donation in the history of athletics at SMU, $100 million that they're about to put into their football complex or whatever. So I'm just wondering if that same donor might be telling, figuring out, all right, I mean, if they're going to give you $100 million for this one dude, can he have a little slush fund over there for the coaches too? Now I need some players to be in this brand new stadium that we're about to get, or upgraded stadium. I guess it won't be totally brand new, but are we going to have these other ambitious donors say, hey, go buy me some football players too? Here's 20 million to go get you some. So I just think the money could get astronomical. That it's going to be hard to turn down an SMU, for Bama. Am I wrong?
No,
Nick?
I don't think so. I don't think you're not wrong, especially if it's you're right. If it's am I going to be a third string safety at Alabama, or could I go be a starter and SMU is going to give me a little bit? The immediate thing that comes to mind is you just lost Sonny Dykes. They were killing it in the recruiting department. They were killing it on the marketing side of things. Me and JT have talked about that. It was a billboard next to North Texas Stadium of SMU, Pony Up. So they were killing it everywhere. Now you lose Dykes. I mean, I look at it as just another shot at, hey, we can't lose this momentum of what we were really going to. And now the question is, if you're a local kid, do you go to TCU or SMU? And I think that little battle is going to be a little bit more localized. Maybe it won't make national news, but it's going to be very enticing, at least for a local kid trying to get something going for himself that doesn't have looks at like Ohio State or, the big schools. So that could be interesting.
Okay. I can see that. And that makes sense. So as I was doing a little bit of research about this stuff, I saw it blew me away. I didn't know it, I guess, because I'm never really looking at the portal necessarily so much and who's going where, who's committed, and who is it, that kind of thing. But I did not know that they actually rank teams that are doing the best out of recruiting out of the portal.
I think that's new. I just saw that this year. I don't I don't think that is. I don't think that's something that has been around that long.
Okay. Yeah, I was just like, are you serious? They got the football transfer rankings out here?
Well, they were very, I don't know what site you guys go to, like as your go-to site, but I mean, just on 24/7, they got a nice little key. They even rank you on the transfer high school. Like it's a very user-friendly for someone who's starting to now follow it. So I myself am very impressed as just someone new looking at it.
Yeah, because they're rating the players on the site as well, whether, he's at 95 or 98 or 80 something or whatever. And, and I guess what was interesting is that right now they got USC ranked 1, LSU 2. Mm-hmm. I guess that's because of all of I don't know if it's the number or how they actually figure that out. I see the team score.
Yeah, there's a coefficient. They take the rating of your player because they're like batting averages, right? They rank you from 0 to 1, and they do some kind of math between those to actually come up with some score, and there's some coefficient, and they boost it up. So like 75 points for USC, I guess, is good for the transfer portal. Like if we were actually talking about signing day, 75 points would be absolutely abysmal. But for I guess if you're just talking about kids that are coming out of the transfer portal, then that's good enough to be the best.
Well, does it shock you that Bama's all the way down at 10?
No,
behind Nebraska.
Actually, I'll say yes. It does shock me. It shocks me that they're actually that high.
You think it should be lower because of the recruiting classes, or?
Well, it's just like they have 3 transfers coming in. Like, USC has 12, LSU has 11, Florida State has 10. I mean, Indiana even has 10, and they're basically saying that those 3 guys that they got coming in are good enough to, their contributions that they expect them to have is top in the nation from those 3 guys versus the other 9 that may be going in somewhere else.
So I did see that there was not very many teams that were actually getting 5-star transfers. Bama was one of the few that had a 5-star transfer. I don't know if that's weighted in there at all. A lot of transfers, 2 stars, 3 stars, some 4. I need to go back into that to really see how many 4, but I know there wasn't that many 5.
Yeah, I mean, in the top 50 at least, there's only 2 5-stars. One went to Texas, and the other went to Alabama. And I think kind of the 5-star is like before, like he was a 5-star player then, but they're not ranking him as a 5-star now.
Gotcha. So I think, and this leads into something that you had asked on one of the other earlier shows about, or maybe I asked about it, of what type of kid actually transfers. Is it more 4-star, 5-star athletes? And I think you had said that, it's not really the 5-star athletes that are transferring, or I don't remember what it was.
Yeah. So what I had said, and this was, I don't even know if it was on the show. I think we were texting with Justin Riley. Yeah. And I had said, like, and Justin had kind of said the same thing, was that anytime you hear about somebody going in the transfer portal, you hear about the 5 and 4 stars. But all the 3 stars, the 2 stars, and the unranked kids that are transferring from, I saw one kid transferred from like the Virginia Military Institute to some FBS school. Like he went up somewhere, and then there's some kid that went from Charlotte to some other place. It's like, but you don't hear about those kids. Like nobody cares that. Let me see. Let me just find
that Nick Granado transferred from.
Hey, don't.
Yeah, like so, like some. There's a guy that's leaving.
Rough Riders. What was the name of your team in Belgium anyway? What were you guys called?
Hey, little shout out, the Moans Knights.
The Moans
Knights. Yep.
How you spell Moans?
M-O-N-S.
M-O-N-S. Okay. All right. Well, shout out to them. Are they still there? Who's the coach, man? Are you upset? Have you been calling the coach, or are you checking up on them and watching? Hey, man, I built this thing.
I'm an advisor. I advise when I can, but I don't throw my advice out there. I usually let them gotta let them grow on their own. But they hit me up when they feel they need to, and I'm more than happy to stay connected to them. That's my first job, so to speak. So I always gotta have those ties there.
Do you make it easier on them with the time change? I forgot what the time change is. I just remember when we did a couple Zooms or conferences, me, you, and JT, that the time change is different. So you're like hardcore, like, no, it got to be this time.
Oh no, I usually keep myself pretty open. I understand it's a 7-hour difference. They're 7 hours ahead, so we usually try to keep it good. They try to respect what time it is here, but I usually, hey, you free? Sure. I know it's usually about football, so I'm open to
Yeah.
that.
While you're watching Monday Night Football, and it's like 2 o'clock over there, 3 o'clock in the morning, and
We've
watching
had,
Monday Night Football.
yeah, we've had some talks where after primetime games. So yeah, I'm more surprised they're awake because they're the ones that got to work. So sometimes I get a call, my boy Frankie, but yeah, I keep in
All
touch.
right. Okay. All right. I know I took a left hand turn there, but it just made me think about it.
Oh, it's all
So,
good.
all right, JT, what were you saying before I rudely interrupted you?
Yeah, I was just saying, I saw a running back from SMU that's transferring, and he didn't know where he's going, but he has no stars. Like he's just a running back that is looking to go
What's his
somewhere
name?
else. Orlando Jones.
Just because it shows up. Orlando who?
Orlando Jones.
Orlando Jones.
And there's a guy that transferred from East Tennessee State that transferred into LSU. He's a 3-star tackle, or maybe not a tackle. I guess IOL stands for interior offensive lineman, so I guess a guard. But it seems like you're just scrolling through here, just glancing. I'm not counting anything, but just like there's a whole bunch of 3-star linemen, and there's a whole bunch of punters and kickers.
Yeah, I guess they don't carry very many of those punters and kickers on the roster, So what help the listener, the viewer, kind of understand?
Hold on, let's answer this question real quick. We got a question for Nick. It says, who do you believe will be the stud of QBs next year?
Ooh.
Greg is a Teagster, by the way. Thank you very much for being in.
Gotcha. Thanks for the question, Craig. To be honest, I mean, so many college teams, you know how it is. It's a lot to go around, a lot of football to watch, but you can't doubt Bryce Young. I mean, that's going to be a thing again.
You put Caleb Williams over Bryce Young. How about that?
I don't. I do not. I don't do that. I don't put Spencer Rattler over. I still think it's just going to stay the course, stay the same. Maybe some new names will pop up that we don't even know yet, but I got to just keep rolling with Bryce Young. I mean, that dude's, I think early on when me and JT might have first talked about Bryce Young, of course, offline, but I've been calling him like the Mahomes of Alabama. Like, I just think it's just that type of legendary status. And we might be talking about the best Alabama QB of all time once we're done with Bryce Young. I mean,
that's true.
I'm rolling with Bryce Young. It's impressive.
All right. What do y'all think about this? I don't know. The Quinn, how you say his last name? Ewers.
Yeah, Quentin Ewers.
Yeah. Is he
going
to help Sark out?
Yes. There's Texas has not had good quarterback play in a while. Like, I respect what Sam Ehlinger has been able to do, but like Sam Ehlinger is a backup. He is, like, however you felt about Carson Wentz, he's a rung below Carson Wentz with the same kind of skill set. That's what he is. I mean, and I don't even remember the guy before that, Shane Buechele. Like,
yeah,
that's what we're doing. This is the quality of Texas quarterbacks, especially, like, I know we don't like Baker Mayfield, but like Baker Mayfield lives 3 miles from campus. And he goes to Oklahoma. Well, he went to Texas Tech first, but then he ends up at Oklahoma. Like, what are you doing? And that's not the only guy from Austin that ended up leaving. Like, isn't Stafford from Austin?
I thought he was from Highland Park.
Oh, well, yeah. Well,
he was at Highland Park.
There you go. I mean, it's not that close, but he ends up at Georgia, who's not known for their quarterbacks. And it's like, I don't understand how Texas lets this happen. Like, Kyler Murray wasn't looking at Texas. He goes to A&M and then OU. There's just, I mean, even the fact that Preston Stone chose SMU and wasn't even worried about Texas. Like, I don't understand how that routinely happens with Texas.
Well, I mean, you hope Quinn Ewers is the man, obviously, like you just said, but like we were talking about it yesterday, JT, and talking about like we're talking NFL, but it's kind of the same question I want to throw back at you. Like, you want to recruit football players. Does maybe Quinn Ewers still have the chip on her shoulder? Went to Ohio State, big and famous, got the deal. Now coming to Texas in the headlines again. Everyone's kind of crowning him already. Or do you keep pushing? Like maybe Arch Manning might be the. I know that he hasn't committed yet, but he might have the little chip, and maybe he could be the man. Like it's kind of that. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? What I'm saying?
Mhm. So what are the real rules with this? How many transfers can you take? Is there a limit? Does it affect the amount of scholarships that you actually get? So there has to be some strategy here, I guess. So can you help our viewers out a little bit about what the real rules are?
Yeah. So I mean, the rules as far as like transfers are, you're allowed to have 85 scholarship players, right? That's what you're capped at. And we've had shows before where we talk about, the difference between gray shirting, blue shirting, red shirting, all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, what you need to know is you get 85 total scholarships. And transfers take up scholarships if you put them on scholarship. So if you had 10 scholarships that you could give for this year and you bring in 9 transfers and you put them on scholarship, you have 1 scholarship left for high school kid. And vice versa. So if a guy leaves, you have freed up a scholarship. Now you have extra scholarships to go around. I mean, it's there's no different. I wouldn't think of it any different than high school kids coming in versus another kid. It doesn't matter where they came from. If you put them on scholarship, it counts against
takes up the spot.
Yeah.
Where do you think they came up with this number 85 from? I'm just thinking of 4 years. That doesn't necessarily equally go into, if you want to have someone there, the whole team, all 4 years, you can't really do it if you're trying to be around 20, 23, 25. Well, it doesn't really matter. It didn't happen that way. They just said, hey, you can have 150 guys on the team and 85 of them can be scholarship. Is it just that simple, or there's something else that I'm missing?
No, I don't know where they came up with 85 at. There's a comment here from Craig saying, I thought when you lost it, you lost it. And I think that used to be the rule. I think that used to be if you gave a kid a scholarship and he left, they basically took the spot with him. I don't think that's the case anymore. I think once they allowed immediate eligibility, then I don't think that was I think that you got your scholarship back because the kid can actually play.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Yeah.
I mean, you definitely can fact check me on that. I'm kind of just going off what I remember. I'm not looking at anything that's telling me that's the case.
Well, it would make sense just because before, if they left, they were ineligible. So, Yeah.
But the deal is like, and I don't think many people know this, or at least think about it, is that when you get a scholarship, now that it's changed, the Power 5, they agreed to change the rule in 2016. But the rest of the schools that are not in the Power 5 conferences, your scholarship's year to year. And they are allowed to take away your scholarship if they feel that you are underperforming. So if you're not playing well or you're not seeing time, they can pull the scholarship. They can just say, hey, you're not on scholarship this year. And that's it. Now, the Power 5 collectively came together and said, all right, you have to stop pulling kids scholarships based on academic for athletic performance, but you can pull it for any other reason. If the kid's failing or if you could find a reason that is not tied to his athletic play, you can pull the scholarship. They're not 4-year deals. They're 1-year deals that renew after every year.
Well, I think, I don't know. It should be that way. I think it's okay. I guess the only part I would say is you just made me immediately think of coach is still going to manipulate that somehow kind of way.
Yeah, when they decide,
Fail him.
well, we're at
Talk to
the
the tutor. Don't help him the way that you have been helping him.
yeah, we're at our 85 scholarship, and we got this high school kid that wants to come here, but we can't ask him the gray shirt. So, like, hey, man,
Yes.
I know we gave you a scholarship last year, but you're really the third string, and you're a good kid, but
All right. I got one other question, unless you had something to say about that, Nick, before I ask about another player.
No, I was learning too. I didn't know. I was learning on that piece.
Quarterback from LSU, Max Johnson, who was there. That I don't know did he get hurt or he just got benched. I think he just got benched in the middle of the year.
did he? No. Max Johnson was the backup. I thought Miles Brennan was the starter, and Miles Brennan like broke his arm or something.
Oh, yeah, maybe that's what it was. I don't remember. But anyway, I know that he's going to Texas A&M. So,
Strange.
yeah, I was just wondering if we think he'll be successful. He's a 4-star guy. Don't really know what Texas A&M is up. Can't say what's up with them. Hadn't studied them a lot. I know they're losing a running back and some others that were pretty prominent. But I'm just wondering if he's going to fit in and be the man there. You know, if you got any thoughts on him as a quarterback, just from the little bit we might have saw. If he's one, since Craig was asking about who's going to make a splash, could he make a splash at A&M? You know,
I mean, he can. I think he's got to be quite like he's being quite opportunistic here. You know, where apparently they really just the LSU, I guess before Brian Kelly was like all in on Miles Brennan. Which it kind of sounded like it was kind of another Georgia situation where Justin Fields was like, come on, man, you know I'm better than these two guys, but you're playing him because he's the senior. And then, I mean, he was behind TJ Finley, right? And TJ Finley left to go to Auburn, and he's playing at Auburn. And then, like, Texas A&M, their quarterbacks are graduating / hurt, and then Zach Gelzada, who was the third string, was like, all right, so now you just like they just brought in a whole bunch of they brought in some quarterbacks, and I think Max Johnson was like, all right, there's no more quarterbacks left at Texas A&M. Let me see if I can just go ahead and slide in and get here. But I mean, he's still got this 5-star freshman that's coming in that he's gonna have to beat out, which I don't know, maybe he can because he's a freshman and Max Johnson's not.
what's the rule on a second transfer? First one, free to go. Immediate ineligibility. You go and you don't like it the next time. You know, bring in this other freshman that's a stud and he slides in front of you. Now what does the
So I
guy
think
do?
so. If you want to be immediately eligible and stay within the FBS, I think you still have to get a waiver the second time. If you go down to FCS, I think you're immediately eligible. Same if you go up from FCS. If you change divisions, I think you're immediately eligible. But if you stay within the division and it's your second time, you have to get a waiver to be immediately eligible. Unless
Waiver? Who signs the waiver?
the NCAA signs the waiver, which is this is like
That's booty.
this is the whole reason that the transfer portal even started is because a kid wanted to leave. Like you'd have two kids in different years that might be like, all right, I decided that I'm going to go all the way across the country and I'm going to play football for USC. And then like, all right, all of a sudden my mom's got cancer. I want to be at home. I want to transfer and be able to play close to family.
Yeah.
And the NCAA is like, nah, you're going to have to sit out a year. And then you got Justin Fields who decides to leave Georgia, and Georgia's like, yeah, we're not signing a release. You just leaving here because you're bitter. Like we're not going to do that. And he petitions to the NCAA, and then the NCAA is like, yeah, why not? You can go to Ohio State and play. And then the other kid's like, wait a minute, why is it that I have to get that my waiver was declined and my mom's dying and he gets to go because he said one time he was on campus and the guy called him an N-word, so he feared for his life and now he has to leave. I'm like, all right. So the Goodell-like nature of the NCAA on deciding who gets to transfer for what reasons. I mean, it's much like how, dare I say, Frisco schools, when a kid says they want to leave and go to John Paul, whether or not they're going to sign the waiver just depends on what mood they were in and who the kid was, and what they say his reason is whether or not he gets to go or not. And the only way to get around that was if you graduated. If you graduated, then they were like, all right, you can go wherever you want to.
Free to go.
So long as the place that you go to has the graduate program of what you graduated in. And you're like, what is that?
That ain't got nothing to do with it anyway. You might want to go to graduate school for something else.
Right.
The complimentary role. Anyway.
So all that to say, while I'm on my soapbox, is I think, as much as everybody hates it, I think that the transfer portal is a net win. I think most of the things that people complain about having to face adversity and all this kind of thing, like nobody's telling the math student when he wants to leave and go wherever that he needs to face adversity and his classes aren't hard, or his math
yes, we
classes
do. He's got to win the doggone the chess championship for us. It can't be damn going over here to MIT and trying to show out. You know, we need you over here too. Maybe they'll start paying the smart guys too.
Yeah, they probably should. And I mean, students actually, so I read this in a study, regular students actually transfer at a much higher rate than athletes. They said like 37% of students transfer in a given year versus 25% in athletes. And I kind of feel like if the answer, if you don't want the kids to leave, I think the coaches are salty because they're like, I think they just don't. If we're talking about people that don't want to work, I think it's these coaches that's complaining to them. Oh, I got to recruit my kids too. It's like, well, just treat them better. Maybe they don't want to leave, but I'd regress on that. It just sounds like you were happy being able to go to the lake on the summer and not worrying about your team. And now all of a sudden you got to actually like connect with your kids throughout the entire year.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want them to stay, make them sign a contract.
You think the Ivy League will start paying merit scholars, people like that, to come to their school? Because I always worried about the GPA and all that. Now they can get into a bidding war between Harvard and Yale on who has the smartest kid.
Hey, I mean, a shout out. I mentioned him earlier from Moans, my boy Frankie. I mean, he's an MIT guy, Cambridge guy, but he's all about the scholars. I'm sure there's the JTs of the world would love to hear about the mathlete transfer portal.
Oh, I'm sure that's a thing.
I'm sure
that's a thing. Because I know those Rhodes scholars and things like that. That's what they hold up is like, we have 9 Rhodes scholars this year or whatever. The Ivy League doesn't even allow their teams to go to the playoffs, which is strange to me.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder why they do that.
Yeah, he's proud of it. I learned forgive me, Frankie, I forgot the acronym he used, but it's the phrase of like, maybe y'all know, of like how like good the student comes out. Like he was talking about Kansas, University of Kansas. Like, all right, they're not good at football, but like there's Nobel Prize winners that come out of there. And there was like an acronym that scores that for universities. And he was really proud of Kansas. So again, there's an audience out there for like, I'm just saying.
That sounds like copium.
Man, well, I don't know. We'll see. I think it's just going to evolve that we're going to be education is going to be free, like some want it to be anyway, because they're just going to start paying kids to come to school. Man, I didn't think about that. What if you're attracting kids like that? That you start now, you're paying kids to come to your school or don't leave. We got your tuition.
Well, that's isn't that basically what a scholarship is? Like we're calling it a scholarship. It's like, yeah, we'll just like comp all your stuff. But really what they're doing is just giving you the money so you can give it back.
But we're going to give you above and beyond, I guess. You got the full ride. You're whatever. You're the scholar, and they're already giving you all your money. But here's an extra $100,000.
So Craig says the sad part about it is Princeton has the most championships ever. Go look it up. Well, they do, but they also started 100 years before everybody else did. Like there was only like 6 schools that was playing when Princeton first started winning their national championships. So they just got a head start.
Yeah, I don't even understand some of these national championships. Kind of like Super Bowls back in the day. There's a lot of colleges that claim a lot of national championships. We got 31 national championships, but what the heck does that mean? Okay, so these guys. So as far as the transfers, Alabama is where it is. We got a couple good ones, or maybe all 3 of them are good. I guess.
Hey, and the flip side for the schools about why the transfer portal might be good. I mean, we had been talking a lot about like Jaleel Billingsley and whatnot.
Yes.
Like, hey, you just freed up a roster spot without actually having to because you couldn't tell them that you were going to pull his scholarship anyway. Like that wasn't an option. So now that he leaves, like, hey, you get the best of both worlds.
Leaning back and saying, "Phew, thank you." Not something they can say. Just say, "Hey, well, I wonder what they do say. What do the coaches say? Do they even ask coaches about transfer outs? Do they have those conversations like?"
I'm sure some kids do, and I'm sure others don't. Because, I mean, you really just have to go to compliance. Like, the rule is the kid goes to compliance. The kid is supposed to go to the compliance office, and the compliance office has to put the name in the portal within 48 hours.
No, I mean, how do you have the press conference? The coach.
Oh,
when a kid leaves, like Billingsley, and maybe you didn't want him.
What you're saying, like he came to you for reassurance, and you didn't give him. You were just very standoffish, and he was like, "All right, clearly, coach doesn't want me here, and now he's got to go answer the question in front of the media."
Yes, what is that?
Yeah, I guess you just say, "Oh well, we wish the best for the kid, and that, and the other thing, and whatever."
Oh, that's tough. That's tough. In the world, I just think I don't know how this is going to go over years, but it is fun to watch and kind of see. I know what you're saying, JT. I think it's good, but I'm kind of I still ain't all the way in like I need to be probably. Just because I don't think people grow up wanting to play for team, or maybe they still do. Probably shouldn't say that. They're not totally accurate, but I just remember people were wanting to grow up and go play for somebody, and I don't know that that's necessarily the case anymore.
Well, I feel like there is. I feel like there are more kids that grow up wanting to go somewhere that just aren't good enough to go there.
Okay.
And I think one example that we have is Jahmyr Gibbs, who's actually transferring into Alabama. He wanted to go to Alabama the whole time, and Alabama told him, "We have too many running backs. We don't have a spot for you. Go find somewhere else to play." And he was like, "Oh, fine. I guess I'll go to Georgia Tech." And then one day, everybody decided that, Brian Robinson's leaving and Trey Sanders is hurt, and you got 2 other guys that are hurt. And Jahmyr Gibbs is like, "Hey, so you got room in that running back room now?"
I'm still here. Yeah.
Well, I saw on I follow the Bama Standard because of you guys. I mean, right before we went on the air, Kamar Wheaton's leaving or unlikely to play.
Oh yeah, I mean he's been hurt since he got there, basically.
I guess he doesn't say he's transferring, but just unlikely to return. So just the running back room, like you said, open.
It's hard to coach, man. It's hard to coach
because Saban. I remember the Saban was saying about Kamar Wheaton when they were asking him, like, "Hey, how is he coming along?" And Saban was like, "Well, he had the injury, and we're doing rehab, but he is not close."
I think our coaches in college are going to start to get younger because they got to understand all this stuff and have the mindset of this, because these old school coaches are probably not feeling all this stuff,
out of touch.
Yep. Because it had to take a pretty big change for you to really just know, man, if they transfer it in, it might transfer out, or someone's going to transfer out. It's a constant shift, and recruiting now is double duty, man. Now you're recruiting the high school kids, but you're recruiting the transfer portal.
Yeah. I think I'm glad that we, no disrespect to Gary Patterson, but that writing was on the wall two 2 years ago. I thought, in my opinion, like where do you draw the line in the sand? Where is Gary Patterson a little bit out of touch? You know, so you maybe you start recruiting a little more local and things like that to get ahead of the curve, or else your program, what programs just die?
Mm-hmm.
Hawaii. Look, that's a real conversation. Programs just, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't even know what happened. Like, Hawaii is just such an interesting story to me because, like, they didn't even have guys transferring out. They had guys just straight up quitting. They were
Yeah.
the quotes were, "He made me not like football anymore. I just don't want to play." And they would go to and a whole bunch of kids did that, and the administration was like, "Well, he's the coach, so like you're stuck with him. We're not firing him." And then a year later, then they decide, all right, like we might not have a football team next year if we keep this guy around.
Well, can't be smacking people down no more.
And then June Jones told him no. Did you see that? Your boy June Jones. They offered him to go back, and he was like, "Oh, I would love to go back and coach for Hawaii again. I want to do it for the people. I want to do it for the school." He said, "But no coach in their right mind would take the deal they offered me." And because he was saying that the school told him that he didn't get to pick his staff. They were going to hire him, and they were going to choose who's going to work under him. And he was like, "Yeah, never mind. I don't want to coach Hawaii that bad."
Yeah. Nah, that's not good. That's not good. Okay, well, we spent a lot of time on that and recruiting aspects, but I want to hit a little bit on this overtime stuff.
Oh, yeah.
That happened. Or lots of talk that's been going on around all the TV stations and all the reading JT's been doing, and plus the radio that we've been doing. Everybody feels like, I think most of us probably agree that the overtime rules in the playoffs for the National Football League need to change. I can't remember how long ago it was before they actually changed it to this. Brian Broaddus and some others thinks it needs to stay the same as it is. I have some thoughts, some wacky thoughts on it as well. But I would like to propose, and I want to hear from you guys, and JT can tell us about some of the stuff that's really out there. I would like to think that we could have something similar to the NCAA rules, but don't start from the 20 or 25 because it's too easy to make a field goal from there. Move it back 45, 50-yard line, but still give both teams the opportunity to score. So you're going to have to play defense or offense both times. And then you can, with the way the rules work, I guess they adopted it in college too. I know we do it here with the UIL that, eventually you're going to get to the one play.
Yeah, it's actually very quick in the NCAA and
3 after 2 times you get that, then you got to go for 2, then
the third one is straight 2s.
Third one is straight 2. So
and you can thank Mr. Joe Burrow from passing out from dehydration. I don't think he was the only one. I think there was actually 3 guys that had actually fallen unconscious from dehydration after their overtime game, which is why they changed it.
Yeah. So, well, hell, at JP2 we still had 11 overtime game even with that in it. So it lasted a long time, and we were dead tired by the end of it. And I was actually driving that truck that night for the team. But anyway, that's kind of what I think. There's a lot of other stuff out there, JT, you might have been saying that you might like. What do you? Yeah,
well, I just thought it was kind of interesting because so what I had originally said was just play another quarter. That's it. Like just play another quarter. And I was asked okay, well, who gets the ball? And I was like, it's just pretend it's the first quarter going into the second quarter. If you're driving and time runs out, it's a quarter change. You flip sides of the field and you keep playing and you keep adding quarters until at the end of the quarter, somebody's winning for the playoffs only. I'm not talking about the regular season. They can do whatever they want to for regular season. I really don't care. If they want to just
it's a tie.
yeah, if the NFL said we're changing the playoffs overtime rules, but in order to do that, we're gonna just games in the regular season that end in a tie. There is no overtime. I'd be like, all right, I'll make that trade. I don't care. You're playing 17 of them anyway, but I don't want to see what happened with
The Bills and the Chiefs.
Yeah, which is kind of funny since the Chiefs actually wanted to change that rule like 3 years ago, and all the owners told them no. But I was reading The Athletic, and they had three fixes that they ranked. They had the easy fix, which was one possession per team, and which is like college light. Instead of like going back and forth. Well, actually, I think it was college. It says simply guarantee that both teams have the ball in overtime, then make it sudden death after that. So they're basically saying, you get the ball, I get the ball, we both score a touchdown, you get the ball again. If you score after that, then the game's over.
It's over. Okay.
So that's the easy fix. Then they have the medium fix, which is what the Ravens proposed, which is called spot and choose. So they said in this scenario, the team that wins the coin toss, i.e. the Chiefs, would select a yard line of where to put the ball. Mm-hmm. And the Bills, who lost the toss, would decide whether to play offense or to play defense, depending on the placement of the ball and whether it thinks it's better at offense or defense. So basically, you get the scenario where the Chiefs say, okay, we're going this way, put the ball on the 5, and we got to go 95 yards. Bills, which one you want? You want to play defense for 95 yards, or you want to play offense for 95 yards? And then they get to decide that way instead of doing the kickoff. I thought that was super interesting. Yeah, I thought that would just be fun just to see what the strategy is. Like, what if you just, like, somebody's like, all right, I'm just going to put it on the 50 and just, But then they had the chaos fix, which is really weird, but also very, very interesting. The silent yard auction. And they said this concept's been around for a while. It's actually been studied at New York University and Cal, and that they prefer Cal's edition, which each team submits a bid at the beginning of overtime on where it wants to start, on what yard line. And the team with the closest bid to its own end zone gets the ball first at that yard line, and it's sudden death from there. So we're two teams, and I say I can score from the 30. I can score from the minus 30. And then if you want the ball, you can say, all right, I can score from the minus 15, though.
This is like the old, y'all probably aren't old enough to know the music show. I can name that tune in.
They came back. They do this. They're doing it again. It's a new show again.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. So that's basically what this is. So, no, I can score from here. Yeah, I like that too. I even now that you said it, that hey, we can score in 8 plays. 7 plays.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
5 plays. Whatever.
All right. Yeah, 5 plays. All right, we'll play defense.
Right.
I like that. Man. I think that would be way more. I think as a fan, that would be way more interesting than to play just an extra quarter. And like I understand best team wins if you just play a whole quarter. But to have the coaches out there like Andy Reid and Brian Dable just being like, well, I got Patrick Mahomes and we can go down there in 4 plays, and we don't think Josh Allen can do that in 4 plays. And Brian Dable's like, yeah, we go down there in 3 plays. What you talking about?
Right. So what do you think, QB Guru?
Ooh, a lot of good ideas. I was kind of with you, Coach, when you talked about keeping it the same like college, but not doing it from the 25. That's obviously too close. I was kind of going a little bit more extreme, like started from the minus like 35 or something, and then just no punts or nothing, so you can go for it on 4th down, but do it that way where both team gets a possession. But I like what y'all just said about the plays. That would be really interesting. I'd be up for 5 plays from That I'd be okay from the 25, because then you could choose to kick a field goal on the 5th down, and it'd be kind of interesting. You don't have a 5th down anywhere else, so you only have 5th down and no first downs. It's just 5 plays from the 25, and I could see the Cowboys struggling a lot with that, to be super honest.
Here, I got another one that I just thought about. I don't think it's practical at all. I think it would just be fun. Now I know you don't remember, but Nick, you remember NCAA 11, 2011? They had those mini games. They had a game called Tug of War. You put the ball at the 50. You get a play, and wherever, like however far you get down the field, we spot the ball there, and then I get on offense, and I go the other direction. First team to score wins. You just keep going back and forth. So if I throw an 80-yard bomb, you get the ball at the 20, going the other way, and then I sack you at the 6. Now I get the ball back, and it's at the 6.
That's funny. What do we do about penalties, though? What about when you're dead tired and you got pass interference? You be holding and you get an extra play because you got pass interference, or what?
Yeah, I don't think it's practical, but that was one of my favorite NCAA games because that mode was pretty awesome.
I think whatever we do, so I'm gonna give you 2 scenarios here. I want to give you another wild one too that I think about. But the first one, whatever you do in the overtime period, I would like that there are no challenges, no TV replays, or whatever it is, that whatever the ref calls, the ref calls. Yeah, we don't get to do the other stuff. We're trying to cut time. We're trying to make it. If the referee blows it, he blows it. Let's play football now. So I like to try to take out some of that other stuff. All right, but here's my crazy, wacky kind of deal. Because I think I'd like to see something where you put a lot of pressure on the kickers because they're always there. So I similar to what you're saying, I'd like to be able to let's put this all in the hands of our kickers and kind of do it like you would do in the high jump or long jump.
Did you do this in the blue-gray game? Isn't this what you do?
Yep, we did do that at one point in time. And so they're not doing it now, but basically move it back, and the person that makes the longest field goal ultimately is going to win if they end up on the same yard line. So they both make a 60-yard field goal. The winner.
Coach, I was saying, what about it treated like the way the dang it, I don't watch enough soccer, but like soccer overtime, like kickers go out there one at a time, and just and do it from the same yard line. Maybe not like a 50-yarder, maybe somewhere like 40 or 45, and just 1 and 1. Just all right, they made it.
Well, they could. Anything of that nature, but I'd like to see you get, man, just line them dudes up, man. You're over there, now let's go. The players are over there. You're cheering, you're looking, and hey, you get whatever it is, 5 kicks, 6 kicks, and you start somewhere. If you make it, the other guy know he got to beat that.
Yeah, so now if you're the Ravens, you're like, let's go to overtime. Like Justin Tucker is.
More kickers get drafted.
You don't get to use the little thing though. I think you have the little holder on the ball like they do for warm-ups. You got to put your long snapper, the holder, and still put some pressure on them that hey, you still got to get it off in 1.28 seconds or whatever the standard is for.
Were you saying just the snapper, no defense, or put the whole special teams out there and do it? I was gonna say that might be kind of intense. It gets blocked. Now all you got to do is make your next one. I'm just saying.
Okay. Well, since we're throwing off the wall ideas, I want to go back to Nick's penalty kicks. You get 5 kicks from the 45, but you have to have 5 different people on your team kick the field goals.
That's too far. How you gonna get 5 people to make it that far?
You got your punter, you got your kicker, you got Jeff Heath apparently, and you got to find 2 other dudes that maybe
coach the
special teams coach. Like, I don't care. I don't care who you.
John Bones, John Fossil, send him out there.
Or I really thought the QB guru was going to go with the old game of the quarterback's got to hit the crossbar from.
That'd be kind of fun too, though.
Out there, that You keep backing it up or get
Punt, pass, and kick competitions.
Turn it into the Pro Bowl. We might as well just have him play dodgeball on the 50.
I think the moral of the story is we'll take almost anything over what is currently happening.
Yeah, Red Rover. Send JT right over. Clothesline. Oh, he's out.
Don't say that. Randy Gregory find a way to go on the wrong color. Don't say that.
Oh man. So yeah, that I don't know. There's all kind of stuff out there. What actually makes sense? What will they actually go to? Nothing next year.
Probably nothing. Right? Probably nothing anytime soon.
That nothing's going to happen as of right now. But I think they're going to have some discussion after this game. I'm sure the Bills will be in there like, all right, guys, what we're going to do? We can't let this happen again when you got two of the best quarterbacks in the league out here battling, and he don't even get a chance. I don't think that's fair. I don't think it's fair. So I hope they put their minds together.
Well, all that really needs to happen is we need this is how it gets changed. Brady's got to make it back to the Super Bowl. They got to go into overtime, and Brady loses the coin toss, and the other team goes down there and scores. I bet they change rules then.
Or any Super Bowl. You mean pissed off people will be if a Super Bowl ends like that? They're already up in arms with that playoff game. You imagine a Super Bowl? I'd be pissed. Like, man, that's how it really ends? You know what I mean?
Because then you'd really have like real public outcry because now you're going to get all the people that don't watch any other game except for this one, and they're like, wait a minute. This is what you guys do?
Always ever? Yeah. No, the TV would cut the black screen and put "to be continued" on there like a movie or something. We're not done yet, Let me see what someone just hit me on Instagram. See what they said. It says coin flip gives 3% edge. My vote would be for 15-minute quarter. Both teams would be exhausted, but it would be a battle and will the next man. Bills deserve a shot. He just said go 15-minute quarter.
Yeah. Well, I did see some stats on that like during the regular season. This was mind-blowing. During the regular season, that it's actually closer to 50-50 on who wins. If you take all the regular season overtimes.
Based upon the coin flip?
Yeah. It's like 52-48 or something like that. 51-49 on whether the winner or loser wins. But apparently there has been, under these rules, there's been 11 or 12 overtime playoff games. And the team that won the coin toss is 11-1 in those games. And the one is that pass interference no call that the Saints had. That was the only team that lost. So they're basically saying, you take that out, the Saints probably end up winning, and then you're basically whoever wins the coin toss in the playoffs is going to go win the game.
I'm sure they got somebody looking at the data for that to say it's not equal, not fair.
It's just people wanted to see a good ending to a good game. And unfortunately, I just remembered nobody, at least I don't think, was up in arms when Atlanta lost the Super Bowl. But that's because Tom Brady came back, and that was kind of the story. Because they won the coin toss and went down and scored. And it's kind of like, man, look at these dumbass Falcons. How are they going to let them come back and lose in overtime? Yeah. But had the Pats lost, there might have been an upcry. It's like, man, they came all the way back,
Yeah.
So it's just that ending that we all watched and didn't want to see end in that way where Josh Allen didn't even touch the ball. I think that's the outcry, which I'm with. I don't like it.
Do we have overtime in every round this year already? The first two rounds? Do we have overtime games?
Do we have overtime in the wild card?
I don't think we did.
No, I think the wild card were all like game-winning field goals, minus the Cowboys. But I think, and you had blowouts and you had game-winning field goals. Like there was nothing in between.
No, yeah, the two NFC East teams got, I guess the Cowboys Eagles didn't get blowed out.
Yeah. I mean, the score was not indicative of how that game went. I know that.
Well, yeah, that would be true. Ooh-wee. Well, we're gonna see.
Well, we got a question. I don't know that we know too much about this, but Craig asked, "What is your take on the USFL?" Which is, I think are they making a comeback? Right?
Yeah, this spring.
They're playing this February. I
Well,
think
what you got?
it's anytime I think you can give an opportunity for players to be able to showcase their talents to try to get to the league. It's not necessarily a farm league, but it does give people the opportunity that maybe didn't make it, didn't get drafted, hurt, whatever it was, to be able to play and give themselves a chance to get to the league. They're a normal football playing platform, I believe, where they don't do gimmicks like the XFL, or I shouldn't say gimmicks, but you know what I mean. They play football the normal way. Tends to be very good coaches, former pro guys, college coaches that are trying to get to the pros that just left or something of that nature. So I'm for it. I think it's a good thing to have those spring leagues. One, you get to watch a little bit of football, see a little bit of talent. But honestly, I can say I'm giving you all that, but I don't really watch spring football that much. I kind of get like JT and get the fatigue and say, I need a break for a minute. But I think it's a good thing. I think the XFL is going to be a good thing as well. I used to love the XFL when it first happened. Oh, how old were you guys then? When they actually had the funny names, nobody's real name was on the jersey.
2001.
He hate me, and they did all this kind of crazy stuff.
Well, the only reason I was like super conscious of it is because Hebron's logo is a former
Hitman.
XFL team.
The New York Hitmen.
Yeah.
There you
really?
go.
Yeah.
That's what I thought when y'all moved to Carrollton. I was like, man, full JT playing for New York or what? That's all I thought of was XFL.
That was fun football to watch. The entertainment is just spectacular.
What if that was the coin toss? What if the NFL did the coin toss like the XFL used to?
Scramble?
Yeah, throw the ball down on the 50. You stand on the 35. First one to run down there, get the ball, gets the ball.
Man. Why not, man? Entertainment. This is all about entertainment. People will go ape shit out there if you do something crazy like that, because there's going to be a big scrum. Officials got to get down there in the middle of it. Who knows?
Well, yeah, I think somebody ended up tearing their shoulder or something due to that.
Oh yeah, on that first game, yeah, it was a straight up injury. Yeah.
Also, did you know? I'm just out here on Wikipedia now. Did you know that Drew Pearson was the general manager for the New York, New Jersey Hitmen?
Of the old XFL?
Yeah.
01? Oh, didn't even know that.
I had no idea.
Drew Pearson. And he was the general manager for the Allen Wranglers, the indoor football team, for a year.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how much they made doing that stuff. Seriously. But anyway, I think you guys have brought up some stuff. A lot of people are going to have a lot of things to think about when it comes to, of course, everybody's going to have an opinion about this OT in the playoffs. But we're not going to know until them owners sit in there and try to figure out what's the best way for them to make some money off overtime.
Yeah, I mean,
as well.
You would think, I don't know, as owners, you would think you would opt for not this solution for two reasons. One being, like, how could you possibly, like, if you're the Bills owner, you got to be kicking yourself for not voting to change the rule in 2019, right? You spend all this money on this offense, you got your quarterback, and you lose on a coin toss, basically. And the second thing is, like, if you want to sell more ads, like, just play another quarter. You know how many more ads you could run? How many more commercials you could run if you just played a whole quarter instead of, well, we gave Patrick Mahomes the ball. He goes down there in 5 plays. We're not cutting the time. We're not going to cut any breaks because it only took 5 plays. And, well, game's over. See you later. Everybody got free football.
What if you just got to figure out how to protect the player? Because that's always what the players union is going to say. Okay, if we're going too long, you're setting yourself up for injury, and maybe not having your players available the next week because you don't want to lose your quarterback in minute whatever.
Yeah, but I mean, at least there
14.
is a next week. You could be sitting at home and your quarterback can be a Tim Couch and sprain his ankle getting off the couch or whatever it is that he did.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I that's the one thing that we never really talk about with this kind of stuff, and I know that's what the players will be saying. If they think about it this year, they don't even want to play the preseason games.
I
They
don't
wanna
think they
play
should
the
have to.
preseason game. Yeah. So now they're probably going to be like the players are probably going to be voting more like you said. Hey, just whatever they said. Somebody on one of the radio stations said, "Hey, just do the coin toss, and that's it.
That's basically what they're doing.
You win. That's it. It's over. It's 12. You win the coin toss.
Rock, paper, scissors. 2 out of 3.
Yeah, 2 out of 3. You're done. Just make it. We're not even playing anymore. It's just,
That's why I was saying the field goal kicks.
Mhm. Just line it up. Just kick it, man. Shoot. I don't know. It'd be fun. Okay, guys. Well, we've kind of hit it. We're at a time. As good as always. You guys always do a great job. We do appreciate your thoughts, Nick, because you bring a lot to us, and we appreciate it very much.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
You get to talk from both worlds over there. You're bringing us the old European football and bringing some American football.
American style European football.
I can't say European football, can I? That's not right.
Yeah.
That would be soccer,
Yep.
I guess, for us over here. So, I don't know. I told you we need to do a special episode on that, JT. Yeah, make that happen. What does that really look like? Because people probably saying, do they play with 11 guys? You got one coach and a couple.
The off season.
There's always drama within the European leagues too. So I mean,
yeah, you'd be very interested to hear, because they still adhere to like relegation and promotion in their leagues. Some of them are professional leagues in the sense that their teams are good enough where players can actually get paid, and other teams are broke and can't pay nobody.
Yeah, it's all based on if the city wants to invest in that team or not. It's really not the league. Well, I won't be disrespectful. The GFL, the German football league's pretty good, but even then, that's how you get. I don't know how legit it is, but that's how you get one of the GFL teams to have Gary Kubiak as a consultant. Again, I don't know how legit, but it's been posted on social media that Gary Kubiak is going to be a consultant for one GFL team.
Oh, wow. Well, so one fun fact for you guys is most of you guys probably didn't know I was very big into the USA football organization. That we're really hitting there early on. I was one of the board members and one of the master trainers that they had. So I got to travel around the United States. But one of the things we always would do is we would go visit other countries and teach them how to play football. So I actually went and did a camp over in South Korea for some football teams there. And I actually got a chance to work with the team for about a week out of London. I'm forgetting what they were. It's a pro team.
You were in Manchester, weren't you?
And it was really, really cool because the facilities that they had, it was really good, but it was just different. It was just different. And so, but it was very, very interesting to do that and see their desire and how good they wanted to be, how much they love football, and the way they were supporting them with their, this facility had the turf field and all this kind of stuff. And it's kind of awkward because they didn't have any bleachers, though. All the fans sat right there on the ground and watched the game. And I was like, wow, this is neat. So I love that. I love the opportunity for people to be able to have this sport and be able to play it, whatever country they're in, because it does a lot for you. We talk about the injuries and overtimes and all that kind of stuff, but what football does is bring people together. It can teach you teamwork. It teaches you disciplines. It teaches you hard work, how to come over adversity. I'm sure you can say that about every sport. It's just something about the physical nature of the game that brings a different set of challenges, that your mindset has to be right. And that's why so many football players are very successful in business and other things, because they can handle critical conversations, at times of need. I say that before we start talking about the transfer portal again, because some people can't handle it. They leave. So with that, man, we're going to go ahead and end this show. Make sure you guys give us some likes.
And also come in and check out the channel, because your daughter just texted me, and she sent me a picture of apparently. So I was uploading a video that I started uploading like 2 hours ago that just made it to YouTube. So we have a new video on YouTube. It features me and Nick and my friend Darian Thompson. Having what I would call a therapy session about the Dallas Cowboys and how their season ended. So if you need some closure like the rest of us did, check us out.
Get to the site, listen to it. It will be very, very good and entertaining. I know you might have to take you a little bit of time to get through all of it, but it's good stuff. JT and the group, they're always bringing a lot of stuff, like I said, to the table. And the more we can do, whether me and JT are together or not, we want to make sure that you guys are getting the content. So make sure that you're staying abreast of what's happening at
abreast, SAT word. Look at that.
Yeah,
he's been reading.
Whatever.
Don't give him that. Audiobooks. Tell him, folks. Audiobooks.
Yeah. Cliff Notes what I use in college. But make sure you're checking out the Teague's Take podcast on YouTube. There'll be a lot of stuff on there. We're doing a whole lot of different things, and we're going to keep expanding because you guys are giving us responses that we needed. So make sure you're downloading from your podcast channels, going back and reviewing it on the YouTube channel, or sitting here with us live via video. We really do appreciate it. We love the Teaksters who come in and support us every time. So thank you guys very much. We will be back next Tuesday. Eventually, we will get to where we're going every other week, right? Just because the football's out, but we're going to hit the next couple weeks for sure, because we want to cover more recruiting stuff regarding
National Signing Day.
National Signing Day. So we will have a special guest on next Tuesday. Patrick Kahn is his name. I think he's called Pat Sports Guy on Twitter, or Sports Guy. Can't remember. But anyway, he's a writer and follows recruiting for LSU. So we got to be able to talk about them. And he was with OU before. So he's going to bring a lot of insight the day before signing day 4. So we look forward to that. 8 p.m. Central Time next Tuesday. With that, I'm going to say, man, we love you. We appreciate you. Deuces.